Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5-time, for all y'all that know Booker T out there, 5-time,
I
the
got
fifth
five on
episode.
it.
Got it in the soul of Kid. Oh, see, we already veering off. Welcome to the fifth episode of East Meets West, ladies and gentlemen, featuring your boy
Conrad
Conrado
Pascual.
Pascual. Yes,
Conrad Pascual.
your boy
That's
MJ
right.
Tolliver. Yes, we're back,
The
ladies and gentlemen.
the MJ Tolliver.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate
That's right. That's
that.
right.
Yes,
That's right.
go ahead and tee us up, Conway.
Now
Where
we're
you
back
going?
here. We're both in
Why you got
full
earth in
force.
your hand?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a stress ball. Not that I'm overly stressed or anything, but I like it. It's the earth. It's the earth because
Yeah.
like soccer, football, basketball has become like easily one of the most global sports, right? And as we said from episode one, like, yes, of course, we love to talk about the NBA. We both reside in the US, but I mean, there is such a big world of basketball beyond the NBA that it definitely merits discussion. And it's something that we would love to, discuss and share our thoughts with all you. So, you know, across the NBA, WNBA, the Euroleague, Asia, there's a lot of exciting basketball storylines going on. And with everything, excitement can come in the form of something good, deserving of praise, makes you want to say bravo.
Bravo.
And then there are things that are deserving of scorn, criticism. They're negative. Makes you want to say, that's some bullshit.
Some bullshit.
So today it's going to be a little bit of a bravo bullshit BS kind of take, on some of these storylines around the NBA, or I'm sorry, the basketball world. So,
Right.
Michael, where would you like to start? Maybe
Well,
somewhere a little
I
locally.
wanna give a bravo to the Sacramento Kings for actually not firing another Mike, because the last Mike you fired, he has a generational type of player in Nikola Jokic. He had to play the divvy up game with him and Yusuf Nurkic in the past, and he ended up with a championship. So you have Mike Brown, who you bring in from Golden State. He totally transforms your team. They suddenly go to the playoffs. They boom to the playoffs, looking like they want to be taking Golden State spot, so to speak, trying to play like them and everything. Um, you know what I mean? Like trying, but like he had Sabonis kind of operating like Draymond with the facilitating, and not to say that he didn't already have that. Sabonis already had that. He had that since like Indiana. Probably it might have been sitting there in OKC. You know what I mean? But um, for him to have the pieces that they have, bringing all the shooters, got De'Aaron Fox, uh, developing Keegan over there and everything, and then you're gonna try to fire him for who? And then what offense is going to actually let that team operate the way that they did, freely and fluently, like the same way Mike Malone had DeMarcus Cousins, and was it Rondo at the time, I want to say, or was it Isaiah Thomas? Uh, we know, we
Yeah,
the those who know what I'm talking about know. I think it was Rondo at the time,
it was Rondo
if I'm
at
not
that point.
mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it
when
was
Mike
Rondo.
Malone was dismissed, it was Rondo by then.
Yeah, so y'all fired him because of DeMarcus being out, basically. Like they had like one of the best records, then DeMarcus went down, boom, you fire Mike Malone while he's out. You know what I mean? So to fire to think of not extending Mike Brown, I should say, would have been dumb, and it would have like led to another period of uncertainty. It would have probably, I'm not sure like how tight they are with Mike Brown, the players, but it might have led to them one out. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, we've gone through this system, we've gone through that system, we've gone through the Tyrese De'Aaron or Davion, which two are we keeping? And we're here now. So you don't win a championship overnight. You know what I mean? You don't go from like trying to compete to, oh, we're here against the Golden State Warrior champions, and then you have a regress kind of a season. Like, they kind of took a step back, but sometimes you got to take one step back to take two steps forward. So I want to give them a bravo for bringing back Mike Brown because yes, you have something. You have a system. You have continuity. There's no need to blow it up. Not yet. You know, give him another 2 or 3 years, and then if you can't get past the second round, then sure. But yeah, have some continuity. You know, like how long was Rick Adelman coach at the Kings?
Oh man, almost a
Yeah,
decade, right? Almost a
exactly.
decade. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Before going to Houston, right? The Yao Ming
yeah,
Rockets and
yeah,
everything. So he was there. He was there for as long as well. No, I think he might have outlasted Jeff Petrie. You know, their former general
yeah,
manager.
yeah,
But yes, I think it's good. Yes, I like right. Like life needs some positivity, right? And
it
this is
does.
definitely some good news. So bravo to Mike Brown.
Yeah,
Me personally, I've always loved the guy. Going
yeah,
back to when he was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers,
yeah,
LeBron's first go around.
yeah,
We actually, I think, referenced that last week. You know, he was the reigning coach of the year. You win 6 or 7 games. You lose, I believe, the conference semifinals or the conference finals, and you get
yeah.
axed, right?
Right.
Because you think,
Makes no sense.
like I feel like make no mistake, like players, coaches, they can grow, they can develop over time. He's probably Mike Brown. He's probably a better coach now than he was back in 2010, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I always feel like he was like kind of given the short end of the stick in like literally every coaching tenure situation he's been in. So I will definitely bravo to Mike Brown. That's easy. I will say, because I'm not a fan of Vivek Ranadive, the owner of the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. So I will I will say bravo for agreeing to a contract extension with Mike Brown.
Right.
I don't know if what we saw in the media or what we heard in the media about, they were kind of weighing their options as whether to extend him. I'd like to think that was just negotiating. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, both parties, that was negotiating. If you really were actually considering just firing or letting him go,
right,
then my God, that is some major bullshit, right? Because right now, he can easily undo, like, how long has he been owner of the Kings now?
Since
like
what, somewhere
8
in
years
the
now?
2010s. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was because
about
20... He was a minority owner of the Golden State Warriors when we first won in 2015. Then he bounced to become majority owner of the Kings. Wow, so at least 8 years. Let's say, right? At least 8 years as majority owner of the Kings, or somewhere around there. I mean, going back to what you were saying, Mike Malone's dismissal was some bullshit, and everything that happened up until basically De'Aaron Fox, and Mike Brown has been a lot of bullshit, right? Vivek Ranadive, I don't know. Like we just said, players can grow and develop. Coaches can grow and develop. Owners can too. Right? And one of the things a lot of fan bases fear is the meddling owner, right? The meddling owner syndrome. And he, I think a lot of people would say he was guilty of that. I don't know if he still is, but basically overruling his general managers as to who to draft. Like you said, right? You just said, right? You cannot win a championship overnight, and yet that's how he acted, as if this was like Monopoly, right? And he's like pouting because he didn't get Broadway on the first go around. That's exactly the type of bullshit that led to them firing Mike Malone in the first place.
Exactly.
So that's not to be all negative. It's just, it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? I give the players the benefit of the doubt. They're playing, they're winning. The coaches are going to coach, right? But for him, like, that is the top, right? The top of the chain, right? Where it can completely be all undone. It can completely be all undone,
I agree.
So,
and it kind of calls back. Who brought in the KG and Paul Pierce to Brooklyn? Who was the owner then? I want to say Mikhail Prokhorov for some reason.
Yes, very good. Yeah, Mikhail Prokhorov.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I was right saying it. I threw the name out there, but I was hoping I wasn't stupid and lost it somewhere in translation. But yeah, Mikhail
Yeah. Oh my
Prokhorov.
God, dude.
Yeah, it's like and then he didn't win in that time frame. And what did he do? He cut and run. You know what I mean? So it's like the NBA is not cut and run. If you're here, you need to be here for the long haul. Like you need to give yourself about a good 20 years before you feel away. I mean, how long has James Dolan been an owner?
Too long.
I mean,
Too long.
exactly.
I feel like I think they got to find a way to like get him to sell. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
But
Dolan, that's some BS right there, dude.
yeah, no, that's some bullshit. I mean, but he finally kind of got hands off, you know.
That's yeah.
And we see what's happening now. Like when you get hands off, you let some of the people have some of their influence and like sway that they have with certain players and stuff like that. Some of the agents, then things can happen. You know what I mean? But when you're like, oh, I'm the owner, it runs through me. Then that's like a dictatorship. Nobody wants a part of that. You know, Carmelo did because he loves New York. And then when Phil Jackson came over there, Phil Jackson kind of bodies his way into a spot like scoot your ass over. You know what I mean? Like I'm me. But other than that, no, nobody was. And then even Phil Jackson left. You know what I mean? So yeah. So
there's always someone to pick up the pieces.
So for Vec, we hope you're taking notes. If you want to be here and be somebody celebrated eventually, then you need to stay the course, bro, and don't become a dictator.
That's what I'm saying, right? There's a difference between, I think, right? You would say, like in our respective fields of work, right? There's a difference between managing, delegating, and then micromanaging.
And that's the one I wanted to touch on. Micromanaging.
Yeah. So I mean, right? Like it's a fine line. It's a fine line. Like we're not necessarily against you or the Kings, right? We like giving people their flowers. We like saying bravo. It's just, it's so much easier to serve, right? A silver platter full of BS.
Right.
So, but it's actually kind of funny or interesting that you bring up the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Specifically, you referenced DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Because I want to give a shout out. I want to say bravo to Boogie Cousins. Because
I love
even
Boogie,
though he's no longer in the NBA, and he said a couple months ago, like he's not necessarily he's definitely not retired from professional basketball. He just simply said he has purposely bypassed in the past. He has refused or turned down overseas contract offers because he wanted to stay stateside in the event that an NBA team, signed him to a 10-day or non-guaranteed deal.
So, Thunder, huh?
Right. So
yeah, 10 minutes 15.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, he ended up just saying, he wants to play. He doesn't want to just be sitting around wasting whatever's left of his playing days. Mm-hmm. So he actually has gone overseas. He's played in Puerto Rico, and he just recently completed a very successful stint in Taiwan. And I know, right? A lot of, if you're just strictly an NBA fan, you might chuckle at that. But I mean, hey, right? What is so funny? Like, if you can acknowledge Boogie is better than his Taiwanese competition, then is he not helping? If his inclusion there, is he not helping them elevate their game? And if he's helping elevate, right, it's the exact what the Dream Team did in '92. Not exactly, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's encouraging other nations, right, to find ways to innovate and improve their game, right? So, but the most direct bravo is, as of this morning, Boogie's team, the Taiwanese Beer Leopards, yes, that is their name, they won the championship.
Bravo.
And he was named MVP.
Let's go. Let's go, Boogie. Let's go.
So I want to say bravo.
Bravo, for sure.
But I wouldn't have brought it up, right, if there wasn't some bullshit to come up.
Yeah.
So, Michael, let me ask you.
Okay.
Because you're already saying, like, kind of saying under your breath, little OKC, right? Mm-hmm. There are, if we exclude two-way contracts in the NBA, right? There's 30 teams, 15-man rosters per team. So there's 450 players in the NBA. Are there 450 players in the world that are just in the world that are better than DeMarcus Cousins? Do you believe there are 450 players just better than him?
No.
And that's where the BS is.
Yeah.
It is insane that he is not on an NBA roster.
It is.
And yes, I'll go in like briefly as to why that is, but it's crazy the way team building, the manner in which general managers build rosters, in which somehow you end up with not the most talent possible on your team, right? Like I'm sorry, maybe Michael and I, maybe you and I are older. It seemed like in the past, if you were good and you accomplished things, you were rewarded with that, not somehow cast away for inferior counterparts, right? And it's not just him. And the reason why I brought that up is because I have had other people ask me, guys who are even younger and definitely in their physical prime. Like I had an acquaintance ask me, Conrad, where's Rondae Hollis-Jefferson? And I happen to know that because he's a superstar in the Philippines. Again, you may laugh.
Yeah, I did see him over there last season.
You know, and my acquaintance, he's very knowledgeable about basketball. He's like, wait a minute, like, you're telling me there's not a single roster that could use him, right? Like, he's somehow not as good as that guy that can't even, like, dribble a ball, you know?
Yeah.
It is a really weird paradigm shift.
He could have played for the Cavaliers or something and made an impact.
Well, I mean, okay. I understand.
Maybe the Knicks.
You know, with luxury tax and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I can understand that, right? That's why now the back end of rosters, there are more young guys. So it's quite great. You're increasing the opportunities for younger guys and everything. But it's like, whoa. Now you're starting to see a lot of these teams, whether it was Denver or even Minnesota, you know, when it comes to playoff time, half your roster is unplayable, right? Yeah. And it was because of, it really is by design. It's by design, right? Yeah. Like, it's cheaper to have a young guy, right? Mm-hmm. It's literally less money, therefore less cap hit, to have some guy that admittedly you have to develop, but then like they're not playable. So now all of these veterans are somehow cast out. And it's not just him. There have been others before. Carmelo was one, and he had to like fight tooth and nail to like be considered again. Yeah. You know, Jamal Crawford got cut prematurely because of injury, but like if he didn't, why was he having to fight for, you know, there's plenty of guys. And it's really weird. It's really weird, right? That's some BS, man.
Since you're saying that, bravo, Isaiah Thomas.
Yes.
For making it back to an NBA roster. I watched his journey. And then they like kind of pump faked that he had got on the roster probably 4 months prior to it happening. And I had kind of retweeted it. And I was like, wait, I went and did my little research. Like, okay, so where's he at? This and that. Oh, this is fake. And I had to delete the tweet. But then I shot him a tweet because I shot a tweet at him like, congratulations, I've been following you the whole time, and you've been saying, he's just always like inspiring, speaking inspirationally, and just keep working, keep grinding, you're gonna get it. And he's like, I'm gonna keep at it, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And then boom, he ended up back on the roster, you know what I mean? And we won't get into the specifics of Phoenix not utilizing him correctly, but he made it, you know what I mean? So if he can make it, why the hell isn't DeMarcus Cousins and like Rondae Hollis, and you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a number two that I'm missing right now, but it's crazy. It's crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, these GMs and coaches, they get up there at the end of the season at their exit interviews, and they lament that, I mean, we needed more veteran talent, or we needed a guy to do this, and it's like they were right there. Right. They're right there on their because see, that's the thing. A lot of people will simply say, and I kind of cringe when people say this now, oh, it's politics. I mean, like, I get it. again, I'm not going to say it. There isn't some kind of, personality, PR dynamics that go into, is it worth having a guy, but I mean, in this case, it's now becoming a trend. Like, we're going to see it this year too. Right? We're going to see that list of all the available free agents, and you're going to be amazed at the number of guys that end up not being on an NBA roster.
Right.
So it's crazy. It's crazy, but I want to give him bravo to Boogie. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I mean, neither of us are his financial manager. Right. What I'm trying to get at, like Dwight Howard, they don't strike me as like they need the money, right?
They just love the game, man.
The game. They love the game. They love competing. I mean, how can you not root for that? I mean, right? Like that is, if again, you want to talk about the benefits of a veteran. How is that not veteran leadership right there? That's someone playing for all the right reasons.
Right.
So kudos to them.
Especially those two, like Dwight and Boogie. You give them enough minutes, they'll grab 7, 8, maybe 10 rebounds.
Do you follow Dwight?
They might get 10 points. Yeah, I see him. He purchased the team, and
he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, because they're basically showing that there's life after NBA basketball. Like, that's not the end. Everybody has this thing where you have to go into coaching or being an assistant, or scouting, or being an analyst or something. People are still doing things that's tied to what? The NBA. You know what I mean? As opposed to, oh, well, I'm doing this over here. Oh, snap, and I'm part owner. Oh, snap, and I love it over here. They love me. I'm productive and still doing what I do, what I love to do, getting somewhere with it too in the form of competition. But I'm also I'm setting up my life even better than I could if I was trying to do this in the NBA. Because how many players are able to set themselves up to say, oh, I'm part owner of this team? It's only one Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's not, well, outside of Jordan running the Bobcats, has it been another? What player has just been at least a 40% owner of a team outside of those two?
I mean, of an NBA team?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, I can't recall. I know, right? Like Tony Parker owns a team in France, right?
Right.
Andrew Bogut owns, I think he's one of the owners of the Sydney Kings, I want to say, right?
Okay.
Actually, we can ask Nick. But but yeah, I mean, Dwight. I mean, again, it is. I can understand fans laughing. It's like, whoa, I have not heard these names in how many years.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, don't just dismiss it. Look what they're actually doing, and look at the type of influence they're having, right? On their teammates, the competition, and the community in which they're playing in, right? I mean, what's so wrong about helping improve the game, right?
Yeah.
Again, that should be to me, that should be deserving of praise. That is a bravo. It's BS when people are so quick to laugh, and say, oh yeah, that's stupid. You're washed. You're a scrub.
I mean, but where we are, we're in America where that's happening. I don't want to go there because that's politics. But if we go into the politics, different, I want to say different, nations just respect hard work, dedication. You know what I mean? You putting your best foot forward all the time. Yes, whole world, right there.
Yeah.
Wait, point this way. Yeah, right to that earth. And I mean, because we have the whole second chance and love, hate. You're a hero today, you're a villain tomorrow thing. But why can't you just be respected for the effort and hard work that you put in? These dudes, they go to the gym every day. They go play basketball with 200-something pound men on their backs every day. In practice or in a game or twice in practice and then later that day and then have to sit in the ice bath. You know what I mean? Come on, man. It's a lot, and a lot of players are respected abroad for those things, like the Kobe's, like the Jordans, I'm sure DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howard now. And it's just, it just goes to show that sometimes you can't put yourself in a box. Like you might want something, but maybe something else needs you, and that might have been,
I mean,
where they needed to be at the time too.
Again, like I said, I mean, if especially for any of our listeners or viewers, if your main exposure to basketball is the NBA, it's understandable that you can't help but compare other leagues outside of the NBA to the NBA, right? That is your reference point. It's how our minds are wired, right?
Right.
It's just that this mentality, which I say is BS, this idea that like, like I do laugh sometimes, there's always that meme of someone has a bad game. Oh, you better learn Chinese, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like as if your ass is getting sent out, right? You're going to have to play overseas because you're a bum now. Right. It's like, I said this the other day. Actually, for example, Mike, you tweeted a picture of someone making a really nice mural of Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, okay. I'm not too familiar with the artist who did that mural. Okay. But
I met him. And then the other guy was like, he was down from him, but I didn't go introduce myself.
I'm going to say,
I was working.
I'm going to go out on a limb here that artist, his work will never be in the Louvre.
Right. Yeah.
Does that mean that as an artist, his life's work is a failure?
No.
Right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So like, it's just this mentality, like, let me get this straight. You're not an NBA player or you're not a superstar in the NBA. So you're a bum, you're a scrub. You're, you know what I'm saying? Like you're a casual, whatever, like, the youth like to say. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Some of the, like I said, some of the greatest players I've ever seen never played in the NBA, not one single second.
That's true.
Some of it was by choice, life choices. You tell, I dare you, and I'd love to get him on the pod one day because he is very social on social media. You say that to Eric McCollum's face. Eric, not CJ. You say that to Eric McCollum's face that he's a failure because he never played in the NBA extended minutes. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Are you kidding me? He's one of the greatest overseas player ever. You know what I'm saying? He's probably accomplished way more than a lot of NBA players ever will.
I mean,
that's my point.
That's true. That's true. Stephon Marbury, even though people hate him for whatever.
Again. All I'm saying is,
bro got a statue.
It's understandable. It's understandable because you're just not exposed to leagues outside the NBA. It's just what I say is BS is when you're so quick to dismiss something just without knowing anything. Like, would you want someone to just dismiss you without ever having gotten to know you? No.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying, right? There's, it's not, it's something worthy, I think, deserving of bravo, so yeah.
So bravo, definitely bravo to all the players playing abroad and still doing what you love. Because at the end of the day, if you still pursuing your passions, I mean, what's more important than that? And you're in position to get paid for it. You know what I mean? To pursue your love. So what's negative about that?
I mean, ideally, right? You say this all the time, right? As we're going through these pre-draft process, right? The question the scouts always ask, right? Like, how much does this guy love the game?
Right.
I don't think all those guys playing overseas, there's no way you can tell me you're questioning their love for the game, especially these older veterans, man, that have made substantial money in the NBA. These guys do not look like, right? Like, you know, they don't look destitute to me,
And before we switch off of that topic, what about, because you've been keeping up with the draft stuff, because I'm starting to leak into it myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who was it again?
I will link all my writing for this upcoming. I will.
Oh yeah.
I will. And our colleague from the Box Score podcast, Nick Thomas, he and I are collaborating on a draft guide for this draft class. So
nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, well then who just got out of the draft and declared or signed overseas. Have you heard that news? I forgot exactly who it was. But he pulled himself out of the draft and he's signing with damn, I should have had it right there on hand on my phone, but I forget who. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, the end all be all is not the NBA. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah.
we've had like Brandon Jennings and Will Bynum, and I can name a few people who've gone overseas first, and
Yeah.
then and even bounce back and forth. So
And
like
Brandon Jennings was, again, do not let the end of his career cloud your judgment about
yeah,
him, man. I mean,
don't let
like,
his time
damn, dude. You
rupturing
want to
his
talk about a pure
Achilles.
hooper? Holy
Mhm.
F, man. Like, dude, that guy could ball, man.
And he was just about to take off, man. I will never forget the game. He was the one that was awakening Drummond, and he and Drummond were developing this chemistry. And I believe it was against the Spurs because I was watching, of course. And he ruptured his Achilles, and we've never been the same since. We were looking
Yeah.
up at that point, and then he went down right when, like, man. But shout out to Brandon Jennings too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I don't know. I didn't expect us to take such an international flavor
Yeah,
to this episode in terms of saying bravo and BS on certain things. But while we're on the topic
yeah,
of kind of going international,
yeah,
um, the EuroLeague finals were just completed the other day. Right. So Panathinaikos of Greece defeated Real Madrid for the EuroLeague championship. So it's pretty cool. Again, right? If you're like Michael and I, like maybe we're hoops junkies. We sometimes like to keep track of former NBA players. So you'll see a couple familiar faces um, in these overseas leagues a lot, right?
yeah,
Me personally, and I was not expecting to say this, but might as well, right? One of my favorite players of all time. Again, he only
yeah.
spent 4 years in the league. Was Rudy Fernandez. Do you remember
Oh,
him?
not yes, I do.
Yeah. So yes, he is Rudy. Okay, this is his final year. He is retiring. He is our age, right? Michael and
Yeah,
I, we don't need to say our age on air, but basically,
no,
he's old enough. He's had a very very long career, and he's retiring. So right,
right,
he's a veteran like Michael and I, and
yeah,
so, but I mean, hey, right? Uh, again, very very exciting player during his time, especially when he was Brandon Roy, again, blast from the past. That is how old, right? We're dating ourselves here, but he
yeah,
was Brandon Roy's backup in Portland.
yeah,
This was
yeah,
when Brandon Roy was, Brandon Roy,
yeah, yeah,
So, but Panathinaikos, their head coach, uh, Ergin Ataman, right? He is a Turkish. He's a fantastic, like a legend in his own right. He's coached several championship teams, several Turkish professional clubs,
yeah.
right? And definitely deserves all his flowers. So bravo, right? Because I mean, like, you know,
Yes, bravo.
there, but and it's fine. Part of the reason why he's gotten a lot more or a little bit more attention these last
Yeah.
couple days is because one of the players on his team is Kostas Antetokounmpo, right?
Mhm.
And yes, that is
The
Giannis's
champion.
younger brother, right? Yes, so Kostas is in a select group to have won both an NBA title, right? Because
Hmm.
he was part of the bubble Lakers,
The
right?
Lakers, yep. Hmm.
And he's now won with Panathinaikos. But so bravo to Coach Ataman. Bravo to Kostas. Now, after the game, so in support of Kostas was Giannis. Giannis was present, and he had a very notable quote that a lot of media outlets picked up on. Right, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically told Coach Ataman, where all the mics could hear him. He said, paraphrasing, you are one of the greatest coaches ever. You're one of the greatest coaches ever. Right. I wish I could play for a coach like you, or I wish I could play for you. Okay. Um, this is a little bit of BS in the sense that I am like 110% certain Giannis has never uttered those words to Doc Rivers.
Right.
I am like, I am so confident he has never once said, Doc, you're one of the greatest ever. No, no.
that I
And
want to play for.
it's not that Doc Rivers' career is just BS. It's just the whole situation, going back to tie everything together, what we're saying about Mike Brown, Mike Malone, the coaching situation, this whole situation in Milwaukee, the ambiguity that they face is, again, going back to Adrian Griffin's dismissal.
Right.
There was a lot of BS there. A lot of parties responsible.
Yeah.
Giannis included. As much as we love him as a player and as a person, and I'm a little, if you don't mind, right? I'm in a mode here because I saw Remember the Titans. No, I'm in a mood for that, but I'm in a mode because I saw Remember the Titans the other day on TV. And one of my favorite, there's a movie chock full of amazing quotes, memorable quotes. One is when Julius says, "Attitude is a reflection of leadership." And it's like, man, when I heard that and I was, kind of thinking about thoughts for this episode, it's like, I'm not saying, Giannis, you're to blame, but you definitely were a part of what led to Adrian Griffin's dismissal, right or wrong. Whether, what I'm saying?
A huge part.
The way, you see the way the team acted after he was fired. You know what I'm saying? It was it's kind of like some schoolyard tactics there. Like and that's what I'm saying. You can tweak the roster, you can bring coaches in or out. And again, maybe he wasn't the right fit, but it's hard to say when, one, you were winning. I believe weren't they at the top, right?
It's another full circle topic.
Yeah, it's just again, going back to team building. It's not just the 15-man roster. It is also the coaching staff, right? And the manner in which they were dismissed. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, even Magic Johnson, right?
Yeah.
He's on the record. Even in 82, he was very much on the record. Heck yeah, I was responsible for getting
damn, who was the coach before Pat? Yeah, Paul Westphal.
Yep. Yeah, and to this day, he goes, yes, I was very much, I mean, and I'm not expecting Giannis to be like that, but don't act, like right. don't act like you're completely innocent in all this. Not that makes anything better, but like, that's the thing. Like, how do you actually improve when you're not identifying the problems?
You want me to tie it in even worse?
Please do.
Okay, so
I feel like this is some BS topics.
it's BS because, of course, probably the last word. Well, of course, because of Giannis's contract at the time and him saying, "Oh, I want to just continue to compete for championships." That's why Jrue Holiday got traded to the Celtics. Doc Rivers used to coach the Celtics.
Oh my God!
Now Jrue Holiday is in the finals. The Bucks have Dame. Like, it's just so much stuff that just goes, you know what I mean, and ties in, and it's just crazy how everything just comes full circle. And it's like, so what if Jrue Holiday being there? This is just left field. I don't want to veer off too far, but what if Jrue Holiday being there with Adrian Griffin there, with whatever type of voice he has in the locker room, leadership, to be able to control that, like you said, like a bunch of schoolboys just, oh yeah, ha ha ha, because Jrue he's mature, he's an older person, and what if he's looking at it like, hey guys, this is what he's trying to get across, and they were winning, you know what I mean? They were winning anyway. So, I just wanted to throw that in there, like that all of that ties in too. One used to be at Boston in Doc Rivers, one used to be with the Bucks. They swapped. He got the Celtic Doc, and they took.
No, I think
Jrue to the Celtics.
that is actually not a tangent. I think that is definitely a very relevant offshoot
connection point
to what we're saying. Connection, because and listen, for all our followers on Twitter, thank you for voting on the polls that we put out there. Remember, we did put one out there. We didn't ask who was the MVP of the playoffs. Because right? It's either Tatum or Brown. We know that. But we specifically put Jrue Holiday. The question was, who's been the most important player? And I think there is a case. That's what we were saying there. There is a case to be made about Jrue because it goes beyond what he does on defense, his offensive, right? Like the steady hand he brings to offense. It is that leadership. You see what I'm saying? You're asking, would it have been differently in Milwaukee if he was there when Adrian Griffin's there? I bet you, right? He definitely could have well, it's easy to say, but let's just look at his track record, right? He's always brought that maturity, and the ability to kind of build trust between him and the coaching staff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was completely gone after they traded him. Remember, let's not forget there's been a lot of questions. We've said it ourselves before, questioning Joe Mazzulla's ability to coach in high leverage situations, right? But again, they always say, right, your point guard is an extension of your coach, and Jrue has done that better than anybody else, or just as good as anybody else this season. That's what I'm saying, right? Though there is no stat in the box score that quantifies that.
Right.
But that's a big bravo. That's a big bravo to Jrue and to the Celtics, to Brad Stevens for identifying that is the type of guy that they needed,
Right.
And so, and again, right, those are the things that are immeasurable, but like you said, it leads to winning. It leads to winning. So,
true.
Yeah.
We can
but
swing that right into the thick.
That's right. Again, coming back to the United States.
Right.
Right.
Shout out to the international
NBA
game.
Finals. The NBA Finals matchup is set, and as it was looking after both teams went up 3-0 against their opponents, it is the Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. So, take it away, Michael. I know you got some thoughts about this.
I got a lot of thoughts.
I got some too. I got a lot some too.
Hold on. Let me seek out my specific wording for the dynamic duo topic I want to discuss here. Yes, dynamic duos, opposite maneuvers. So Kyrie and Luka basically versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And
the Jays.
I want to write the Jays versus Kyrie. Lukai. Sound like they formed together on Dragon Ball or something. Lukai.
Okay, good. Stay like that. Otherwise, we're just making a bunch of dad jokes.
Right. But no. And I kind of want to go back to something that you mentioned about the Celtics when we did the what was it? Positive or negative?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So
yes.
So can the positives in the Celtics big two or their duo outweigh the positives in the Mavs duo and help them get a championship? Do you think? I mean, I haven't gotten into the thick of it. Maybe I should explain it a little bit more. Okay, so they have Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White, Jrue Holiday,
right.
Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford. They have pieces around them. Kyrie and Luka, on the other hand, have a lot of auxiliary pieces, a lot of sleeper X factors that no one knows who will come out of nowhere. We haven't seen Tim Hardaway yet. You know what I mean? Like that in a important capacity.
Tim Hardaway Jr., Dante Exum.
Yes.
They have kind of disappeared the further they've gone into the playoffs. Yes.
Right. I mean, but I would think Tim Hardaway is capable of being plugged in. You know what I mean? Right. Depending on the way they want to try to defend.
But basically, Dallas has Derek Jones Jr., Lively Gafford. PJ, right?
Yeah,
so those are your main. Josh Green. Those are your main. Jaden Hardy. So those are their main role players, supporting cast. Let's put it that way, to their respective dynamic duo.
Right. So, I mean, we could double back to the main question, but I want to really touch on this part. Does Dallas have? I mean, Does Dallas have enough X Factor mystique where you won't know who to kind of, try to figure out as the third person, as the third option, enough for them to be able to beat the Celtics. Because with the Celtics, it's like, oh, Tatum Brown, Drew today. Tatum Brown, Kristaps Porzingis. And they're real big on Kristaps Porzingis. If he comes back fully healthy, it's over for Dallas. Is that do you agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Even after seeing what Dallas has done?
No. Wait, are you? You're saying the Celtics over the Mavs? I thought you were saying the Mavs over the Celtics.
No, I'm saying the Celtics over the Mavs. Is it enough for the Celtics with them having like clear? They have a Drew Holiday who could drop 20. They have a Kristaps who can drop 20. They have a Al Horford who could suddenly drop 15 on 4 made 3-pointers and a couple twos. You know what I mean? Right. And free throws. Like they have clear cut names, whereas Dallas has a ragtag team. It's Kyrie, Luka. Maybe you can sprinkle Tim Hardaway Jr. in there. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit of PJ Washington, but they're not just they're going to give you 15 a game. Here you go. You know what I mean? It's just not.
To go back to how you framed this discussion, right? It was the dynamic duos.
Yeah.
Right? Because to me, yes, right? This is basically, it's the main showdown. The main, right? What everyone's coming to see is Luka and Kyrie versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Right? What's interesting to me, and which is why I want to give... Is it Nico Harrison? Nico Harrison, is that the name, right? The GM of Dallas?
I don't want to say yes. I'll say yes, though. I'll stay in line. We'll be on one accord. It's Nico Harrison. You want me to look it up real quick? But carry on.
Yes, it's Nico Harrison. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had that right. But the point is...
you got the computer in front of you.
Yes. The point is that to me, it seems obvious. If either team is going to win the NBA Finals, those dynamic duos have to be at their best. Is that easy?
Yeah.
What I find interesting is that then this debate is, or then to me, it swings. The swing factor is which supporting cast can basically, to simplify it, can outdo the other supporting cast.
Right.
And the fact that the NBA Finals can possibly be determined by which supporting cast is better, that is, to me, where I will give the bravo to either Nico Harrison or Brad Stevens. Because then that means, right, that not only have you put the best supporting cast around them possible to maximize your dynamic duos,
right,
but then that really means you did it. You made all the freaking moves, right, to put yourself in a position that those moves you made. Because think about it too, right? You just said it yourself, like Exum, who was signed at the beginning of the year, but like he's not really in the rotation. Hardaway Jr. is not really in the rotation.
Right.
Who are the biggest X factors for Dallas, right? Other than Lively, right?
Lively, right? Gafford, exactly. See.
Right, Gafford, PJ Washington, it is your deadline acquisitions, right? You could potentially be rewarded because you didn't just sit on your hands at the deadline. Even going further back to this whole dynamic duo discussion, right? Mm-hmm. The Mavs, yes, they ended up not making the playoffs last year, but even like if they didn't kind of take their foot off the gas, right? Like there was no guarantee. They were like a play-in team at best. What I'm trying to say is, even though they were not a definitive championship contender last deadline, that didn't stop them from being aggressive, and acquiring Kyrie, right? It is amazing. That to me will be the biggest bravo. I give them already a bravo, but the biggest bravo is that you didn't stop building just because of where you were in the standings last year, right? Like you should always, I think all fan bases, you should want your team always looking to improve. How that manifests in the moment, it can vary from team to team, but ultimately, right, they always kept their eye on the bigger picture, And that's why I find this finals really fascinating. Right? Is
Yeah,
again,
it's. I mean, if you ask me, if it's just 2-on-2, I'm honestly taking Kyrie and Luca, to be honest. But
Oh yeah,
then,
yeah.
like if you were just like, here, 2-on-2, you guys play it out. I'm taking Kyrie and Luca. I
Yeah.
mean, come on now. Both of them are so crafty. And that's where I wanted to reference what you said. Like Jaylen Brown can't dribble. And a lot of people say he can't to his left. And Jason Tatum, didn't you say they can't dribble? Both of them can't really dribble like
I
that.
don't. No, they
Did
cannot.
you say that? Somebody,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Oh,
said
you
that.
you
Yeah,
did
I
say
said
that,
that on
yeah,
episode
yeah.
one.
So it's just like, okay, so will their like shortcomings hurt the supporting cast that they have around them? Because what I've seen from Dallas is Kyrie and Luca dig into the defenses, bring in extra defenders. Because if you don't, they're going to score. If you do, they can still score. So they're X factor players. You don't know. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
when people sing, oh, Rudy Gobert and Carl Anthony Towns, they were like, Dallas is done. They the same way they're talking about it with the Celtics. Like, oh, Dallas losing. They're washed. This is it. This is like one of the better teams. Minnesota Timberwolves was the best defense, right? And they got dissected. You know what I mean? And then when they try to like really close in on everybody. What
isn't
happened?
Gobert
Oh,
isn't
just throw the
Gobert a
ball in the air.
generational defender?
No, he's not. Like I watched Luca go up, go behind him, and then he turned that way, and Luca just that little jumper, man. Like, come on, man. And then Kyrie can split through the both of you and then left hand you. And you mean
Oh man,
somebody on the Celtics is capable of even putting up that type of defense? That's a big. I
it
mean, maybe Al Horford can shock us for a game. He might wind the clock back because I love Al Horford. And I feel like he's a really good
like
glue piece on a playoff championship contending team, but I don't know if he got that at this point. And I don't think
he's
he
not
can't
Atlanta
stop
Al
them.
Horford
No,
anymore.
and he
You
can't
know what I'm
stop
saying?
them. So
Yeah,
I don't know. And Kristaps
it's
Porzingis, if he's not 100%, what? Okay, so we put Lively or Gafford on him, or the suddenly defensive Derek Brown, and and then what? Because they weren't. What team was that? That was and who was it? Guarding him. Didn't you mention that one too? Like they were going to guard him a certain type of way. Kristaps
guarding
Porzingis
with a small.
and guard him with a small
Yeah,
and
defend him with a guard.
muck up his
Yeah,
ability to get to his spot the way that he wants
get
to
up. Yeah, you get
comfortably.
up and into him. Get into his center of gravity, right?
Yeah,
And mess up his ability to get a clean gather. Because then, right, his release is no longer fluid, right? He's trying to like just shoot like up and around you as opposed to just shoot up over you.
right. Yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean, you could take it from here. Like, I just want to hear what you
oh
think.
no, I mean that's the thing, right? Like I've had like I've heard both sides, like or even like from Celtics fans, from Mavs fans, and even just
Yeah,
like neutral
and
fans, right?
just basketball fans.
Like
Yeah,
it's if someone said Conrad or Michael, guys,
yeah,
like Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis they're just better. They are better players than Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford.
right.
You could sell me on that, right? Like, sure, I'll probably even agree. But again, what you're saying, right? Like, this isn't a game of 2-on-2. It's
Right,
how they're going to be used in relation to their respective dynamic duos.
right.
And the way in which Gafford and Lively are used, I'm not sure that Horford and Porzingis match up well with what they're going to expect Lively and Gafford to be doing against them,
Right.
right? It's just like because I get it,
Standing
right?
in a corner somewhere, unable to shoot threes type
Because
shit. Like,
I see like those little fun graphics, right, where like people try to say, oh, okay, well, like you have the starting rosters and you vote which team has the better, right, like which team has the better
yeah,
point guard, but
yeah,
that's not how it works. That's not
right.
how it works,
It's
right?
not. It's all game
And
plan.
that's why, like, That's what I've been saying. I mean, I'm not. Not only do we question Porzingis' health, like just how effective he'll be, because you got to win 4 games. This is not getting healthy to play in 1, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, because then we're assuming you're going to be on the court.
Mhm.
I mean, really?
I got another spin too.
when Luka or Kyrie go to that side pick and roll, and they're opening up a lane, like as I've been saying, even throwing PJ Washington that, or even Derrick Jones Jr., they're roll men, right? Once they get a running start, like that's a foul. Then you're either fouling them or they're just dunking it, right? What is Horford? And again, I understand Horford. They're going to have to defend them right on the other side, but we're just talking about how it's
how
really
are you going to
weird.
stop Dallas?
Yeah, it's really weird, right? That like you could say they have the better roster, that they're more talented, but they might not actually match up with But again, this is assuming that Luka and Kyrie are bringing it, right? Because then obviously the whole conversation goes moot, right?
It does.
Not, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But they still have the ability to win if one of them isn't all the way up to par, because they've shown it. So if Luka just drops 20 and Kyrie drops 35 or 40 like he has before, then they can still win. And if Kyrie drops 15 and Luka drops 40, then you know what I mean? Like
amongst the things that have been really exciting about this Mavs playoff run, at least for me, right, is like for example, Kyrie, right? Like his fourth quarter numbers, especially in the conference finals, were like amazing, right? It was like what, like 10, 12 points per game just in the fourth alone. But there were at least 2 games where he had like single digits, right? Like 5 or 6 points at halftime, right? But
then
he was legitimately facilitating, right? I mean, right, like the whole like cutting to the lane, right, and then kind of like faking a drop step, right, and then it's all of a sudden it's a lob to Gafford or Lively, right? He's facilitating. Or when Lucas shot, even though he was pretty much hot majority of the series, but if there was a quarter where he wasn't, right, what was he doing, right? He's rebounding like crazy, you know. Like they haven't been ineffective. Like, or I should say, let's make it. They have found ways to still be impactful and effective, even when they're not scoring.
Right.
Right. That's why, yes, I agree with you. I think one of them could be off.
Right.
And you could still be rolling. Right. Because at the same time, are you really what? Oh my God, Kyrie missed 2 3-pointers. I'm just gonna leave him wide open now. Are you stupid?
Hell no.
You know what
and then
like,
and they bait. Well, Kyrie baits. Like he does his thing when he's facilitating to kind of get things going. Oh, this is what they're gonna do. Oh, Kyrie's off. Boom, third quarter, Kyrie. Oh yeah, I'm open, or I'm a little more open this time. Or he's thinking I'm gonna do this now, so I got enough room to do this now. And he's, you know what I mean? Like some of it is set up, some of it is set up. So I'm not saying this stuff to make it like I'm sleeping on Boston. I just hear a overwhelming like groundswell. Say it right, Michael. Groundswell of, oh, Boston is gonna win. You know what I mean? I don't hear nothing really outside of me saying Mavs in 6, or like
is that your prediction?
Maybe like 2 coworkers saying it, but everybody else is Boston.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah, my prediction. Yeah, you want to spread out? You want me to do a game for game real quick?
Oh no! I'm just saying.
I'm about to say Mavs 1, Celtics, Mavs, Celtics, Mavs.
I am 100% in agreement. 100%. Yes, that's
really?
how I envision it too. Oh yeah. I have Mavs. I got Mavs in 6. And actually, again, maybe our followers maybe
won't be. They won't like it.
We follow back fans of any team, and yet according to our polls, it's an O. Our current poll right now, it's overwhelmingly Mavs are going to win this series.
Oh, is it? I didn't look at it again yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta go back. Maybe
Yeah.
they're just the people I've talked to then.
Yeah, I know. I mean, no, but it's a good point, because it's almost somewhat counterintuitive when you look at it at face value, right? Just like I said, right? Like you say, wait, the Celtics are better here, but somehow they're not going to be like the better team, or like they're not going to perform better. You know, so it is weird, but that is how I think that's how we see this matchup potentially going.
I mean, and it could go the other way. Like all of a sudden, the Celtics are the best defense with Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and then Jason Tatum can fill in the gaps here and there with they're lengthy and everything, and then all of a sudden they just put the damn lockdown on the Mavs. That's possible, but I have to see it to believe it. Both ways. Like I'm going Mavs, but I still I've seen it. I've seen their randomness, but it needs to continue. And I know what Boston is capable of. You know, of course, they just kind of stroll through the East, and people. I guess I've been caught in the nitpicking of, oh well, they lost Tyrese Halliburton, and they still had T.J. McConnell cooking their ass, and that stuff kind of went in my ear and just sat. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, well, damn. That is kind of true.
It is weird. You know, like again, if you're really now trying to do a deep dive into everything, it's hard to gauge, right? Like how effective really is like their ability to ice a pick and roll if such and such wasn't present. Definitely, okay, Tyrese Halliburton was not present.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's understandable.
Right.
But we'll see. Like I said, I think going back to the biggest bravo again, the fact that, and it's not that we're anti-Celtics. I don't think that's what we're doing here.
No,
it's just the fact that there is a very compelling argument for the Dallas Mavericks, and that we can start to begin to see ways in which they can win this.
Yeah.
The bravo again goes to Nico Harrison. It goes to Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Right. Because not only did you assemble this team, you found a way to make it work, and to be, at the deadline too. Right.
Yeah, make it better at the deadline.
That's what I'm saying, right? Because remember, he was completely criticized and ostracized last year.
Yes.
For not making it work.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, to be put in this position in this manner, that is already like, it's not like, oh, hey, an effort award, but like you could already see why you deserve that bravo,
Right.
So, but one final thought before we part, because of course I have to sprinkle in a little BS, right? Okay. Assuming Porzingis. So the report this morning was Porzingis practiced in full.
Oh, okay.
No, he practiced in full. Right.
I've seen a YouTube video say he might or something like that.
No, but I mean, like, if he is practicing in full, then typically he would be in the starting unit, right? It would be Drew, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and then Porzingis, right?
At center?
Yeah. But that was that Horford was coming off the bench, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because they're too slow. They're too flat-footed if they start together.
Yeah.
Right? Which makes sense. Because again, right, you don't want Porzingis to have to switch out onto the perimeter. You want to minimize that as much as possible.
And this is where I can put in the other little loop that I said I had probably 20 minutes earlier.
Okay.
And the only reason I said to him starting is he hasn't played playoff basketball. And
well, I mean, I'm just saying.
So does he suddenly Jameer Nelson the whole ordeal?
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like you're not up to speed. You're not juiced mentally, understanding what we came from. You haven't been a part of the unit. You've been sitting here, watching and in the camaraderie, but you haven't been on the floor actually knowing, like when we're building up, our adrenaline is rising and all of that. Can you get through that within 7 games as opposed to already having series that have built that within you and you just missed a game or two? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could he come Jameer Nelson the whole thing over Ray Froston losing to the Lakers Magic? Or could he be Magic Johnson taking Kareem's spot? Like, I don't, maybe that might have been a stupid comparison, but you get what I'm saying. Like, is he gonna come mess up? Is he gonna come mess up the dynamic, or is he gonna make it where they're untouchable? You know what I mean?
Again, yeah. I mean, by the time you all join us again, we'll have seen at least game 1 of the finals,
Yeah.
right? Because that takes place Thursday, June 6th.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our answer. We're gonna get our answer to see like
Yeah.
where he's at. But no, all I'm saying, as going back to it, as in not just dynamic duos, right? What is it? What do they say? Like a square dancing, right? Cowboy
Yeah.
square dancing, right? Turn your partner Dosey-Doe. Right.
Yeah.
So instead of a dynamic duo, how about a Dosey-Doe duo?
Right.
Because I think it's funny that Porzingis could potentially be the starting center for the Celtics. Gafford is the starting center of the Mavericks.
Right.
They were the starting front court for the Washington Wizards last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
That's correct. That's another full circle moment. Wrap it up. Like, this is why I love the NBA. And I posted that. I said, I love the story that is the NBA because everything always comes back. It always comes back full circle. Always.
Right. It's funny. It's funny how now fans are so quick to espouse praise about Porzingis, Gafford, PJ Washington, and yet when they were with their former teams, they were like the dumbest mother effers ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
especially they were dragging the hell out of PJ.
So that's BS, right? So
yeah.
Again, it's all about how it fits. How it fits, man.
That's
so, okay. So I guess, we both got Mavs in 6. And
no disrespect to the Celtics or the Celtics fans. We love y'all. We don't. I mean, I can see the Celtics winning. I can.
Oh yeah.
But I'm speaking from the underdog because I'm looking at it like, are they really that underdogish? You know what I mean? Like, to me, they're kind of strong like the Celtics, just in their own way. That's why I said dynamic duos, but they're coming from opposite forms. You know what I mean? Like, it's two different superpowers clashing.
Let's end this episode with one quick question that we'll both answer. Just in general, who is the best player in this series? Who's the best player?
Luka.
Who's the second? I will say Luka too. No, it's actually this is very interesting.
And I'm putting Kyrie in there. Like, I don't know. I have to start his ice around. You want me to flip a coin, start his ice around or something? Like, I don't know. I mean, because if Kyrie shows up for every single game, if he still got it in him to be like, he's matched Luka in a lot of these games. If he can continue to match Luka the way he used to match LeBron, you know what I mean? Man. Like, should I not say Kyrie? I mean,
no, I think that's a good point. That's a good callback. If you got 2016 Kyrie, then
yeah.
Then how
and he's not. I don't think you think he's over the hill yet, or like.
If we say that, then that makes us feel old, man.
I mean,
we're older than him.
32 and doing left-handers between 2 7-footers.
He was a one and done at Duke. He's young.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's still. I mean, Steph at 32 was doing what?
That's true. Dude, Steph at 34. Steph at 34 sliced and diced, Tatum and Brown.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay, I don't know, because I could drag this episode out more. Does Kyrie look winded to you when he's playing?
No.
Okay, so he's not over the hill. So if he matches Luka, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, right? Like, I know between you and I off air, we had that discussion, right? Like, could Kyrie actually win Western Conference Finals MVP? And we knew he wasn't going to. But there was a legitimate case, especially games 1, 2, and 3. Because like you said, like he was like, if Luka's there, he was just like right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like game 4, he had a bad game. But then game 5, he rebounded. So if you're getting game like the Kyrie you saw in games 1, 2, 3, and 5 of the Western Conference Finals, it's hard not to say that he at least has a case. A case.
Yeah, he has a case.
The second best overall player.
The case becomes stronger if Jason Tatum comes out inconsistent. The case becomes stronger if Jaylen Brown comes out inconsistent, and they aren't the powers that they've been against the East. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come to the West, and the things that I think that could happen in them, you got Lively in front of you. Then you got Gafford in front of you. Then when you get to the cut, you got Lively, Gafford, and Brown in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Kyrie swiping at you, with Luka able to like sneak the ball out of you. Like it's gonna be way tougher than what
Yeah.
I would say the general casual fan thinks it's gonna be. It's not just gonna be,
Yeah.
oh well, Jason Tatum is shooting like this and Jaylen Brown is dunking like that, so yeah, it's over. Like no, okay. But if I had to make a definitive two, surprisingly, I'll say Jaylen Brown because
Okay.
he's on both ends.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I mean, just because we could get a 12er out of Kyrie, if depending, and that's not necessarily him just being trash. It might be maybe he got out of rhythm because Luka does have moments where we see Luka kind of like dribble up, do his thing, kind of get through the defenses. Oh yeah, I think I'm about to pass. No, I'm about to do this turnaround. You know what I mean? And that might have been able to go to Kyrie, and it could go back. He can, it could develop into something different. So it to still be able to make a case for Kyrie to get to that second spot is dangerous. It's dangerous, but I'm gonna go Jaylen Brown because he is two-way. He's legit two-way.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And that's not saying that's not saying Tatum hasn't improved on defense because he has. Which is why I said Boston could suddenly turn into this just lockdown team like this. Okay, Dallas. You know what I mean? But I have to see it. I got to see Dallas do what I believe they can do because we've been seeing it against everybody else. So we'll see.
Like I said, when we reconvene, the next episode, we will have seen at least game one, right? And we'll see who's deserving of some bravo and who served up some big BS, man. So.
Right. Oh, and before we go, shout out to the Indiana Fever. Shout out to the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Another rematch. That was a really good game. I was working while it was going on, but Indiana, bravo. 5 players, 5 starters in double figures. Nalissa finally getting off and looking good. You know what I mean? And doing it. And Kelsey Mitchell, for that matter. You know what I mean? And just seeing Caitlin Klein canvas things a little bit more, like she's getting better game to game. Seeing her canvas things. Shout out to Camila Cardoso. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Right.
Good.
She looks like damn near like Tierra McCowan already. Like just drop the ball into her and she's right there. Can't do nothing with her. Aaliyah Boston was blocking a lot of her shots though, or not a lot of. Was it? No, it wasn't her. It was Angel, wasn't it? Yeah. She was getting that Angel quite a bit, and I haven't seen this Aaliyah in a while. On the defensive end anyway. But yeah, I mean, good job on both ends for both teams. I mean, 1-point game. It was. Hey, we had 5 more minutes. It might could have went to Chicago, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, what did you think about that too?
This is going to be a topic for another day. Because,
okay, we'll save it.
No. I'll leave this with a little preview.
Okay.
Your Detroit Pistons made the Jordan rules famous.
Okay.
I feel like there are some Caitlin rules being developed here.
Yeah, it is.
Becoming very it's hard to deny this now. It's becoming very, very noticeable game by game. But despite that, right? I enjoy that's competition. I enjoy some to a certain extent, in terms of the physicality.
Yes.
Right? As long as
I love the physicality.
But I love physicality. I like the competition. So right? As long as they're cool with it, I'm cool with it. Right? It's just let's not act like this isn't happening. Let's just we'll talk more about that next time. But it's bro.
It is.
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
Caitlin
rules. There are the Caitlin rules. They're the
Caitlin rules. Are you the first person to say this?
I tweeted it this morning. I don't know if I'm the first, but I did.
I mean, I'm talking about the Caitlin rules in quote. The Caitlin
Hey,
rules.
I
You
would
need to
gladly
go patent
subscribe.
that.
Yeah,
Go
no, right.
patent that right now.
The
Seriously.
story's still being written, but maybe one day I'll write a
You
book
can
about it.
put that on a shirt right now.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, we about to start the merch. This is getting published, so don't take that from him.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Michael, why don't you let them know where they can continue to find us?
Oh yeah, well, you guys see our Twitter handles, I'm sure. But you don't see the EMW_pod at Twitter. I tell everybody when they're looking for us on YouTube, just type in East meets West a basketball, so they don't have to type out the whole thing, and then it pops up. You'll see the beautiful logo that we have, but it's East meets West a basketball state of being, because that's what this is. That's what state we're in. Me and Khan. You see how we just went worldwide. And also, I don't know the Linktree by heart, but it's I'll have to embed it in my head. We're also on Spotify. We're actually on our heart radio. We're on Apple, so just look for us in all of those places. But we have the most like traffic, or I want to say traffic interaction and things going on. Pretty much everything is on Twitter. So EMW at EMW_pod on Twitter. That's like all day, constantly.
Yeah,
Be killing it.
and we have all the links that are here in the video. So yeah, feel free to like just scroll around, click, and like, subscribe.
Yes, definitely subscribe. Come subscribe. Come increase our algorithm. Like and subscribe and share it with your friends that love basketball. That you in the basketball state of being like we are. Subscribe.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Everybody have a great week, and we'll see y'all next week.
Next week. Game 1.
Go Dallas.
Right.